Well, we have gone 10 o'clock. Thanks for joining, everyone. We will get cracking. Everyone's got a half-hour session to cover quite a bit today. Today's session is around how Kinetics is using AI to boost productivity, something I'm really enjoying. It's inside Kinetics. There's plenty going on. Perhaps, Ben, could you flick to the next page and we'll just, so today our experts, our subject matter experts, Philip Adamson is our Client Services Director, and Ben, many of you will know through Cambium Engagements, is our Digital Enablement Lead. I'll leave that to you both, but first, just a bit of housekeeping for those that have turned up towards the end. Look, everyone's muted at this stage just to minimise background noise, but if you have any questions, please pop them in the Teams chat. The webinar will be recorded and will be available on our website within about 24 hours. And look forward to today. Thanks very much. Over to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. So we've got this split into two sections, one from myself and one from Philip. So I'm going to start off with a bit about how we're actually using Copilot automations through Power Automate and AI through Power Automate and the Power Platform at Kinetics. And there's four key things that I've got to cover off today. One is about using AI to assist with learning. The next is Teams meetings. And then we'll look at how you can use or create your own knowledge assistant and how you can get automations and AI to assist in drafting documents. Okay, so first off, using Copilot for learning. Everyone's got access to Copilot in the Microsoft 365 world. There's a feature called Copilot Chat, and you may have even purchased the additional license that means you can use Copilot within Teams meetings, and leverage it within Excel, Word, PowerPoint as well. Just an update for you, the Copilot chat tool is going to be available in all of the Office apps. You may have started seeing it already, in fact, without the purchase of the $600 license. It doesn't give you all the features, but it will allow you to actually interact with documents when you've got them open, whether they're Excels, Words, PowerPoints, etc. Okay, so coming back to the slide here. So the challenge with learning, of course, or as we do any task, is we might not quite know how to do it, or we want to make checks against it or ask queries. And of course, those might be things that we normally find an expert on. It could be a colleague or it could be someone else, or we might go and Google and find that information. Okay, so that's really where I've started developing a bit of a different habit, and it's actually to use Copilot to increase my learning, address knowledge gaps with it. So it can certainly help if you have no knowledge on something and want to get some. Just point out, always check the results that you do get back from AI. Of course, don't take it as being fact. Do your due diligence, but also it might be something you've forgotten, so it can aid with that recall of asking or getting a reminder about something, or you might be simply struggling for ideas and blank page. You're looking at that and you want ideas, you can simply ask Copilot for ideas on the given topic subject. Right. So I'm just going to switch over and show you a quick example of where I've really found it useful, not only for myself, but also assisting clients. And that's actually to look at getting help around complex formulas or long formulas. They might actually not be that complex, but they might be quite long within Excel. So I won't run through what this formula actually does, but because Copilot's helped me with it. But you'll see here, there's quite a long formula in this box where I'm seeing Reese's name there. And one of the things I can do is I can go to Copilot suggestions and explain the formula. So I've actually got that here, the explanation. So I'll just click outside of here. So it tells me a bit about what the formula is doing. So it's helping me understand it. Maybe I haven't, used this formula before, or it's a spreadsheet I've been given access to, and I want to get a broad understanding of what's going on. And it also gives me a suggestion here as well on how I can actually improve it, telling me that there's a more efficient way by using XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So certainly helping with my learning, my understanding, but also giving me a suggestion on how I can improve that. I know that certainly helped with one client where we've developed some really long, clever formulas, and then it's like, now we've got these working, can we make them more efficient? Because generally the longer a formula, the more resource it's going to take up to process things. Okay, so I could continue that conversation with Copilot as well. I won't do in this instance. I'm going to take us back to our slides. Okay, so it's a bit about how it's helping us to learn and develop our skills. Okay, so the next bit is actually using Copilot within Teams meetings. Well, you don't necessarily have to use it if you've got a Copilot license or you have a Teams premium license. There is a feature called AI Notes. And what it's allowed us to do is switch the recording feature on. By the way, you don't have to record meetings. You can just transcribe them to benefit from this. Sometimes people aren't comfortable having audio and video recorded. So you've got a choice there. It can just be the transcription that will assist with this. That means we can focus more on the meeting content itself. We're not sitting there trying to make notes, and keep up with what's going on. We can leave that to the transcription and the AI note taker. I certainly find if I'm in a meeting, I probably tend to focus on listening for things that would apply to me and actions I've got to take. And sometimes, you get, a bit sort of in your lane, as it were, and don't hear what else is going on. So just in case you've never seen this, in terms of what you do get, I'll just switch over and show you an example of one of our lunch and learn sessions that we had here at Kinetics for our engineering team. It was actually around Copilot, and you'll see here it gives me an option of viewing the recap. Okay, and it's given us some meeting notes here. What it's also done, it breaks down the topics that were actually discussed, so it makes it quite easy to get back and look at those. It's given us the transcript. So the transcript can normally be downloaded by anyone who has got organizer rights at the meeting, and it means they can run it through Copilot to turn it into, the minutes or the meeting note style that they would like. There's actually a new feature coming to the AI summary option where you'll be able to use and set up your own templates directly from within here. Okay, just watch out with any of these AI note-taking features. Even the built-in Microsoft one for Teams it's not giving me the exact words in this. It's like someone's taken the notes and put them into how they think it sounds best and has collated conversations together in one block. Okay, remember we've got the transcript if we want to go back to exactly what was said and by whom as well. And a new feature that's just come along with Copilot is the option to get an audio recap. And there's various styles you can have that in, an executive style, a casual style, and you can actually listen back to the meeting as told by these AIs that discuss the content of the meeting for your I suppose pleasure or leisure, and you can even quickly scan that onto your phone. It gives you a QR code so you can listen to it in the car over your car stereo. So there's a bit about using it to be a bit more productive and focused in meetings. Okay, so our next one here is a bit of in-house development that almost any organization can do, and that's to actually make it easier to get to company knowledge. Now, our company knowledge at Kinetics generally resides in SharePoint. Okay, so we have our policies and procedures there. You know, they're fairly straightforward to actually get to, but by developing a knowledge assistant, we've actually made it easier for people to go to Teams or to Copilot on their mobile or on their desktop computer and ask questions to address queries they have about working at Kinetics. Again, I'll just give you a quick show of how that actually looks. So here we are. We are now on version 2 of our Copilot. If you've used Copilot already, you'll see this is a bit like using the chat feature. As I say, you can actually leverage this from Teams as well. It doesn't have to be from the Copilot interface. I simply go and fire away the question. And if it's got information in its knowledge banks, it's going to come back and address that query. It depends on how you've developed it. You can actually have the answers structured in a particular way as well, and also get the relevant citations. So here we go here. It's giving me that information back. And as we go down a bit further, we'll see the sources, or source in this case, of what it actually used to. Right. So the last one for me is it's not Copilot related. It's actually using some of the other tools we've got in terms of being able to automate and use AI as well. For us, it was actually to assist us with drafting documents in terms of picking up a traditional template or going and finding an earlier document that looks similar or met similar criteria and doing a save as. We're finding that was time consuming, potentially led to inaccuracies, maybe a bit less thought was put into it as well, or you're maybe missing out on information that we wanted to gather. Now we've taken that one stage further, that it will actually create the document for us, and that part is using Power Automate's flow automation tool. I'll show you in a moment. And we've taken it through to using our own specific AI prompts in the automation to carry out a review that meets the measures that we want to actually review against it. In terms of the benefits that we're getting from it, we're getting that consistent look and feel with our templates or our documents that we're outputting. We're putting in the right information, up-to-date information as well. We're making sure that the information we want to collate has been collected, and we're ending up with that, I say, first initial review. Okay, traditionally the first review would be done by a colleague, but now we've got AI doing it. So again, I'll just show you how that works in action. So we have a SharePoint list where we record the information in terms of the document type, the template we are using, who's working on it, cost, notes, etc. That information is then taken into a document. So it's all automated, goes into here. And then once we are happy that the document is created, we then submit it for AI review. And you'll be able to see here, we've got some AI review recommendations. So it's a very consistent review, a little bit different than if you actually went into Copilot and asked that to review for you, because that constantly evolves. You know, you might be getting slightly different answers each time on the review, or different layout. So we've got this consistent approach where it's gone through and it's checking for these bits and then telling me what it's found in its review and what the recommendations are. Okay, so that's some of the ways we've been using it to boost our productivity, save time, improve quality, etc. as well. So what I'm going to do now is hand over to Philip.
Thanks, Ben. That was actually, I've not used Copilot that much myself yet, and seeing what you did with it in Excel there has made me realise I should get on board with it. I've come, the part of the business I come from, which was outsourced IT, which has merged with Kinetics. I've come very much from the aspect of building our own AI, and we've named it Holly. Those of you who are Red Dwarf fans will get the picture on the screen. I wanted to come up with something where we didn't have to take all our data and put it up on the web or up on the general internet in other people's AIs. I'm a bit of a control freak. I like knowing where my data always is. I like it being local. So about 12, 18 months ago, we started from scratch and built an AI machine called Holly to do jobs around the office. It has the benefit of being really quick in its response because you're not going out across the internet. You can put a lot more data in there because you're not paying for storing it anywhere else. And I'm a bit, as I say, I'm a bit of a control freak. I can control both the output and the costs. So one of the first things we did with Holly was helping us turn engineers' timesheets into invoices. Or helping them make them suitable for invoices. If any of you have worked with computer engineers, you'll know that sometimes their grammar and punctuation and turn of phrase can be interesting and entertaining, but it's not the sort of thing we want turning up on your invoices when you get an invoice from us. It's all very well for a timesheet to come back saying, sussing out server that had smoke coming out of it. We would like it to say resolving power supply issue with server. So what we do at the end of each month, and actually we're working towards doing it actively daily now, is we have Holly review all of the timesheets and put them into language that suits being on an invoice and that isn't going to offend people. And one of the reasons that Holly's very good for that is it's lots and lots of transactions. We've got over 20 engineers, a month's worth of timesheets. It could be 4 or 5 a day. We would soon be running up big costs doing it with ChatGPT or even Copilot, whereas having it on our own system, we've both got full control where we can customize the style of output, but we can also send it as much data as we want. So if you do occasionally look at an invoice from us and see that it looks either a little bit formal or a little bit lacking in personality, you're not actually seeing the engineer's personality there, you're seeing Holly, and I've asked Holly to be polite. Another thing we do is trend analysis for our engineers' meetings. Again, we've got a lot of data in our service desk system. Not something I necessarily want to be uploading all the time to a public large language model, a public AI. And so we have given Holly access to our ConnectWise, which is the system we use. And for an engineers meeting each month, each week, I get the last month's analysis done by Holly of the tickets we've been dealing with, the clients that have been most prevalent in calling the service desk or needing things done. Working towards getting Holly to also look at the time taken and the response times to flag something for me a bit more dynamically as to when we're taking a bit long or when something hasn't been replied to. I know actually, Rick, you had an example of that just recently where something fell in the hole and had been booked but you hadn't been told about it. That's another thing we're trying to improve and just making our communications better. But the current thing that we've got it doing is just spitting out who's doing what, the recurring problems we're seeing. As you can imagine, with a large team of engineers, someone could have dealt with a problem for a client and not realize it's happening at 3 or 4 other clients. It might have been due to a Microsoft update or some other incident on the web. This actually brings to everyone's attention when something is happening more than once across the team without us having to sift through hours of timesheets and try and manually work out what trends are going on. So that's something we started using late last year, and we've brought across with the merger, and it's just in the process of going live with the much larger system that we've got now at Kinetics. So those are two sort of quality aspects of the labour saving. I used to sit down and go through the timesheets at the end of each month. It would take me 2 or 3 hours of adding full stops and capital letters and correcting words like sussing out to say diagnosing. Holly does that in 2 minutes. So it's been a nice load off. We're working on another thing that Holly's doing, which is now that we've got it accessing our larger database, is that so when you email something into the service desk team, the remote engineering team, to get a job done or a problem that you're having, that Holly will actually grab that email first and do the sorts of searching that the service desk team would normally do. So obviously often something comes in and they obviously know how to deal with it immediately. But often our industry is changing so much that items come in that we do have to just go out and Google and look for updates and things. What we're getting Holly to do, because he has access to both the ConnectWise database and the interweb, is we're getting Holly to do that initial search that the service desk team would do. So by the time they actually open the ticket, the email's gone to a ticket, it's got notes next to it if Holly was able to do anything to help. And that's something, again, we can do because we've got it sitting locally with access to all of our local data without it needing to go online. And the final one, which isn't directly in the engineering team, but that we are in, well, we've just implemented it. You probably all get lots of supplier invoices. I know for us it's many because of the product sales and so on that we do. So we've got supplier invoices coming in all the time. There have been various systems around, and I know in Xero you can now upload your PDF and it will populate the bills record. It's not always that accurate. It can get funny things wrong. It can pick up wrong fields. Sometimes you'll get a currency field in the GST field or something like that. We've got Holly working on that for us, so it takes the output from pulling all the data out of an invoice PDF without us having to specify where the fields are in the PDF, just ripping all the data out, and then Holly goes through and can see what's a description, what's a date, what's the supplier name, and so we can actually just feed all the invoices in. So instead of someone spending an hour and a half a day keying those invoices into Xero, they spend 15 minutes. We still go through and check them because you do still sometimes get some real doozies. And some of them are unprintable, but we've certainly had a few come through that have had a few howls of laughter around the office that Holly thought was right, but we don't want entered in our accounting system because it's meaningless. So we still have someone go through, but it's gone from an hour and a half a day of processing this down to 15 minutes. So that's been a major time saving as well. So looking at the stats, those are just 4 things that we've done, and with the benefit of having unlimited and local AI to work with. Looking at the stats from some of the agencies at the moment, they're saying that around 90 to 95% of AI projects don't deliver a quantifiable return. I'm thinking that there's a lot of people going into this without proper analysis, and I know Ben will back me up on this. Sitting with the projects that you've done, Ben, sitting down and working out how the manual system works first and where the pain points are, where the savings are. It's no good automating something if it's not going to either save time or money or improve quality. And so that frontal analysis is really good. And again, we've been fortunate. Obviously, we've got in-house expertise that for ourselves, but that's available for other people to use as well. And we've had so far, I think, about an 80% positive return. We've had a few projects. I've gone off on a few tangents and spent time developing something that proves to be useless. That can happen to anyone. But the team that we've got together now with the combined businesses, we're actually starting to see real benefits from both from Copilot and from having our own Holly online. And actually, Scott, you could just talk briefly about how Holly helps you.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Philip. I use so I've got Copilot, the full edition, and I found that helpful, especially while working in the Microsoft ecosystem, right? And some of the things that Ben's done in terms of helping us use agents to search for documents as well as reviewing and critiquing. I find Microsoft Copilot is excellent in digesting and explaining its own products or technology in a way that helps me to explain to clients, which is sort of my role, and it helps me do a better job there. I do find, though, Copilot's language isn't always me, and I've been using Holly as a counterpoint or as an alternative to understand and review. So I might take an email thread and copy it into Holly and ask for maybe some learnings. I actually had some asked it for some learnings and coaching on my style and my communication with a client. We had a ongoing challenge, and I was trying to work through that. I've also asked it to help provide me with replies or suggestions, and the language I find is a little more me, whereas Copilot isn't. So yeah, we can drop almost anything into Holly, and because it's contained, and I know Microsoft Copilot is contained as well, feel really secure about that, which is great. Yeah, I think it's nice having a couple of different models, and the best part is that Philip can actually tune Holly's personality. So we can have multiple personalities. We can have different names. So we could have multiple AIs. We could have one that's very friendly, or one that's extremely technical and focused on other things. Or in our case, we can also have one that's very sassy and cheeky. Philip made some personality changes to Holly in the weekend, and I was a little bit surprised on Monday with some of the replies. So yeah, you could tailor something like Holly, an internal AI, potentially to work only on your documentation and in a tone and style that suits your work. It's quite enlightening to see the possibilities when we have the controls, or someone like Philip has the controls of the AI. Why Copilot is very much at the behest of Microsoft, and we sort of wait to see what pops out the other side. And it's a very professional product. It's great. It's nice to have the variety. So yeah, thank you for bringing that to our team, Philip.
And just to cover off before you sum up, Scott, what Scott's actually referring to is I was playing with getting Holly to be a bit cruel and sarcastic while I was doing some project work, and I wanted a tutor that was giving me a hard time, and I unfortunately set the personality at root level rather than at my user level. And when Scott logged in on Monday morning, he got a bit of a surprise with how abrupt it was being to him about his communications. Fortunately, nothing on that side went out to any clients, but thank you, Scott, for bringing it to my attention. So
very interesting. We haven't. We've got a variety of people doing different AI, so everyone seems to adopt AI differently in the business, and I think that comes down to people's abilities. I personally use Holly and Copilot to help me with my email replies. If I'm trying to find just the right words, I used to macerate and sit on emails before I would send them. What I find is if I put them into AI, it gets me 80% of the way there in terms of communications, and I think it speeds me up. I'm absolutely certain of that. So yes, it does make me more productive. We don't have any questions at the moment. Oh, hang on, we do have something in the Q&A from Guy. Can you build a knowledge assistant with the documents stored in OneLaw that continuously updates itself as new documents are stored in OneLaw each day? That, I believe, Guy, I can probably help answer that. I believe you can. The only challenge, or the main challenge is, I believe, because OneLaw is a SaaS product, it's its own data and inside its own application. You need to build an integration with OneLaw that pushes your data into another place. So that might go into an Azure cloud storage. So you would need to, we could explore that with you, but you need to put the data somewhere else so it's isolated from OneLaw. I hope that helps.
What's happening at the moment too is more and more organisations like, software suppliers like OneLaw are building what's called an MCP, a Model Context Protocol, which is an interface that lets AI use them as a tool. So, if this is something that other people are wanting to do, you may find that there's already been an interface built and you can tap into it, or an AI hook for it, if you like. So it could be quite a quick investigation. We may find that it's already there, but if it's not, yes, they're certainly very, very, comparatively easy to build.
Yeah, agreed. I'll just drop my email address there, guys. So if you want to email me for any questions or further discussion, please. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, we'll look to wrap this up. Any passing comments, Ben or Philip?
No, other than in terms of the query about OneLaw, the technology just is evolving all the time. So something that you can't do this minute might be solved in the next minute. So it's a challenge to keep up to speed. And that can be both from the vendors who produce stuff, but also Microsoft being able to connect to things, or other ways of connecting to that source data that end up being introduced through APIs or whatever there might be. So just because something doesn't work today or the last time you asked about it doesn't mean it might not work next week. There may be a solution to that. So bear that in mind. I don't have anything further to add other than just to run over a bit about a couple of upcoming events, and that's it. So we have our next webinar that's on the 16th of October. You'll see there. And we also have another event that we are actually launching. It's a series of workshops called the AI Innovation Circle. So both of these are accessible from the slideshow, which I believe will be distributed post-session, so you'll be able to have a look at those, or you can go to the event section on the Kinetics website as well. But that was the last from me. So I'd like to thank you for attending today, and reach out to Scott, Philip, or myself if you do have any queries or questions.
Agreed. Thanks very much, Ben, and thanks very much, Philip. Join you next time. Thanks for joining, everyone, and the recording will be up in about 24 hours. Cheers.